The music pulsed softly through the grand hall, blending with the low of laughter and conversation as elegantly dressed guests moved beneath the glow of crystal chandeliers. Waiters in white gloves waved through the crowd carrying trays of champagne, and everything about the evening whispered wealth, power, and perfection. She stood among them in a stunning evening gown, her posture graceful, her smile polite but distant. To anyone watching, she looked like she belonged there completely. But inside, she felt like she was walking on fragile glass, careful not to say or do anything that might trigger the man standing beside her. Her husband had already been drinking more than usual. She could tell by the way his grip tightened on her waist, not affectionate but controlling, his fingers pressing into her side as if to remind her of his presence. His smile to others was charming, even charismatic, but the moment his eyes shifted toward her, something darker lingered beneath. She tried to ignore it, nodding politely as someone complimented her dress, offering a quiet thank you, hoping the night would pass without incident. But it didn't. It started with something small, too small to justify what followed. A man across the room had greeted her warmly, nothing more than a polite exchange, a simple smile. Yet her husband noticed. His body stiffened instantly, his expression hardening as his gaze locked onto her. She felt it before he even spoke, that sudden shift in the air, like the calm before a storm. He leaned closer, his voice low but sharp enough to cut through her composure. Are you enjoying the attention? He muttered, his tone dripping with accusation. Her heart skipped. It was just a greeting, she replied softly, careful, measured, hoping to calm whatever was building inside him. But her words only seemed to fuel him. His grip on her arm tightened, this time painfully, his fingers digging into her skin. She winced slightly, trying not to draw attention, but it was too late. The anger in his eyes had already taken over reason. Without warning, his hand came up and struck her across the face. The sound echoed louder than the music. For a moment, everything stopped. The conversations faded, the laughter died, and the entire room seemed to freeze in disbelief. Her head turned with the force of the slap, her hair falling across her face as a sharp sting spread across her cheek. She didn't even realize she had stopped breathing. Slowly, she brought her hand up to her face, her fingers trembling as they touched the burning skin. She looked around, hoping, pleading silently, for someone to step in, to say something, to break the unbearable tension. But no one did. Some guests stared openly, their expressions a mix of shock and discomfort. Others quickly looked away, pretending they hadn't seen anything, unwilling to involve themselves. A few whispered behind raised glasses, their curiosity stronger than their courage. The humiliation hit her harder than the slap itself. Her husband, however, showed no regret. If anything, he seemed emboldened by the silence around them. He stepped closer, towering over her, his voice louder now, no longer hiding his anger. Don't embarrass me, he snapped, as if she were the one who had done something wrong. Tears welled in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Not here, not in front of all these people. She straightened slightly, trying to hold on to whatever dignity she had left, but her hands betrayed her, shaking uncontrollably at her sides. The music slowly resumed, hesitant at first, as if unsure whether it was allowed to continue. Conversations picked up again, though eternal, filled with tension and unease. The illusion of a perfect evening had been shattered, replaced by something raw and deeply uncomfortable, and yet, he acted as though nothing had happened. He adjusted his jacket, glanced around with a cold, challenging look, daring anyone to question him. No one did. The power he carried in that room, whether through wealth, influence, or fear, kept everyone silent. She stood there beside him, her cheek still burning, her heart heavy, realizing in that moment that she was completely alone in a room full of people. Her cheek still throbbed, the sting lingering like a cruel reminder of what had just happened, but there was no time to process it. Before she could even steady her breathing, he grabbed her wrist again, this time not with explosive anger, but with a cold, deliberate force that felt even more terrifying. His fingers wrapped tightly around her arm as if she were something he owned, something he could control without question. The room had resumed its rhythm, but the energy had changed. Conversations were quieter, glances sharper, and though people pretended to move on, their attention hadn't truly left. He leaned closer to her, his breath warm and laced with alcohol, his voice low but firm enough to send a chill down her spine. "Call your father," he said. For a moment, she didn't understand. The words felt out of place, almost surreal. Her brows furrowed slightly, confusion mixing with fear as she looked up at him. "What?" she whispered, her voice fragile. "I said call him," he repeated, more sharply this time. His grip tightened just enough to make her flinch. "Let's see if he can teach you how to behave." A wave of dread washed over her. This wasn't just anger anymore, this was humiliation, a performance. He wanted an audience, wanted to prove something not just to her, but to everyone watching. Her heart began to race again, pounding so hard it felt like it might betray her fear to the entire room. I don't understand," she tried again softly, her voice barely audible over the distant music. His patience snapped instantly. He pulled his phone from his pocket and shoved it into her hands with a force that made her stumble slightly. "Dial, now!" The device felt heavy, foreign in her trembling fingers. She stared down at the screen, her vision blurring as tears threatened to fall. Around her, she could feel it, the silent pressure of dozens of eyes. Some guests were openly watching now, curiosity overpowering their discomfort. Others pretended to talk but kept glancing in her direction, drawn to the tension like moths to a flame. She swallowed hard, trying to steady herself. Calling her father, she hadn't spoken to him in weeks. Their last conversation had been brief, distant. And now, in the middle of this nightmare, she was being forced to reach out to him, not out of love or need, but as part of her husband's cruel display. "Put it on speaker," he added coldly, standing just behind her shoulder now, close enough that she could feel his presence like a shadow. Her fingers hesitated over the screen. For a split second, she thought about refusing, about dropping the phone and walking away, about doing anything other than what he demanded. But the memory of the slap, the way no one had stepped in, the way the entire room had turned into silent witnesses, it all crushed that thought before it could take shape. Slowly, with shaking hands, she unlocked the phone and began to dial. Each number felt heavier than the last. Her breath grew shallow as the call connected. The ringing tone echoed in her ears, loud and relentless, as if counting down to something she couldn't escape. Once, twice, 3 times, each ring tightened the knot in her chest. Behind her, he smirked, his confidence returning. To him, this was a game, proof that she was small, that she had no one who could challenge him. He crossed his arms slightly, watching her with a look of expectation, almost amusement, as if he were waiting for the final piece of his performance. Louder, he muttered when she instinctively held the phone closer to herself. "Let everyone hear." Her thumb hovered over the speaker icon for a second before she forced herself to press it. The sound filled the small space around them, making the moment feel even more exposed, even more unbearable. The room seemed to quiet again, as if people were unconsciously tuning in. Then, a click, the ringing stopped. For a fraction of a second, there was only silence. Her heart nearly stopped with it. And then a voice came through the phone, calm, deep, steady. Hello. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Her throat tightened, emotions colliding all at once, fear, shame, confusion, and something else she couldn't quite name. Her eyes flickered toward her husband, who was now leaning in closer, had to take control of the conversation. She barely had time to breathe before his hand moved toward the phone. Before she could gather the strength to speak, his hand snatched the phone from hers, his movements sharp and impatient, as though even her silence had annoyed him. He didn't look at her, he didn't need to. In his mind, he was still in control, still the one directing everything. Bringing the phone to his ear, he straightened his posture slightly, his expression shifting into something smug, almost amused, like a man about to prove a point. Yeah, he began, his voice loud enough for those nearby to hear, I think you should teach your daughter how to behave. She's forgetting her place. There was a brief pause on the other end of the line. Not long, but long enough to feel different. It wasn't confusion. It wasn't fear. It was something else entirely, something controlled. When the voice spoke again, it was calm, measured, and carried a weight that didn't need volume to command attention. Who is this? The change was subtle at first, but noticeable. Her husband's smirk faltered just slightly. He hadn't expected that question, hadn't expected that tone. Still, he recovered quickly, letting out a short, dismissive chuckle. I'm her husband, he replied, his arrogance returning. And isso just you. He didn't get to finish. The voice on the other end cut through his words, still calm, but now colder. Sharper. I didn't ask what you are to her, the man said. I asked who you are. That was the moment something shifted. Her husband's expression tightened, his brows pulling together as uncertainty crept in. Around them, a few guests leaned in ever so slightly, sensing the tension building again, though this time it was different. The power in the air had changed direction. I think you don't understand who you are talking to, her husband said, but there was a faint crack in his confidence now, barely hidden beneath his forced tone. A quiet exhale came from the other side of the call, almost like disappointment. No, the voice replied steadily, I think it's you who doesn't understand. Silence fell heavy this time. Even the background noise of the pair seemed distant, irrelevant. Her husband's grip on the phone tightened, but not with dominance anymore, with tension. Put her back on the line, the man said. For a moment, he didn't move. His eyes flickered toward her, really looking at her now, as if seeing something he had ignored before. Then, almost mechanically, he lowered the phone slightly, his hand no longer steady. Who is this? He asked again, but the question sounded weaker this time. The answer came without hesitation. I'm the man who's going to make sure you regret touching my daughter. The words weren't loud, they weren't shouted, but they hit harder than anything else that night. A visible change swept across her husband's face. The color drained slightly, his jaw tightening as the reality began to sink in. This wasn't just an ordinary father. This wasn't someone he could intimidate, mock, or dismiss. There was power in that voice, real power. The kind that didn't need to prove itself in a crowded room. What are you talking about? He stammered, trying to regain control, but it was slipping fast now. You will find out soon enough, the voice replied calmly. But for now, you will hand the phone back to her. And you will not raise your voice again. Not tonight, not ever. It wasn't a threat, it was a promise. His hand trembled slightly as he pulled the phone away from his ear. The same man who had stood tall moments ago, unchallenged and dominant, now looked smaller. Exposed. The shift didn't go not said. Whispers began to ripple through the nearby guests, their curiosity reignited, their attention locked on to him again, but this time, not with admiration. Slowly, almost reluctantly, he extended the phone back toward her. She hesitated for a second before taking it, her fingers still shaking, but her eyes different now. The fear that once filled them had begun to fade, replaced by something steadier, something stronger. Hello, she said softly, bringing the phone to her ear. I'm here, her father's voice answered, gentler now, but still firm. Are you alright? Her throat tightened again, but this time not from fear. From something else, relief, perhaps. Or the sudden realization that she wasn't as alone as she had felt just moments ago. Around her, the room felt different. The same people, the same lights, the same music, but the balance had shifted. And standing just a step away, her husband knew it too. For the first time that night, he had nothing left to say.